Okay, have you ever read a book over and over and over again because you can't get enough of it? I'm doing that with this book. And part of it is because right now I don't, that's hard to explain, but like right now I don't want to like get sucked into the fictional world again and like become obsessed with books anymore. And so I'm not reading any new books because of that. And but this book that I'm reading right now, or have been reading, I think I've reread it like about 5 times now. It really connects with me on like a personal level, and like even when I'm not in a reading mood, sometimes I'll crave reading this book just because it helps me feel less alone. That sounds so bad. But it's true. Like, as a spoiler warning, I guess, it's not even an actual book. Like, it's on this app that I have that literally like has books that are made up by people and like most likely won't be published because a lot of them are really shitty. So this is probably never going to be published, so like you probably won't even be able to read it unless you download this app. But so I'm gonna spoil it for you because like I'm gonna explain the whole plot because I memorized it because I've read the book literally like 5 or 6 times now. So anyways, I think the reason that this story is like so like connected with me is because like it's about abuse and like I kind of relate to that, and like I also really want to get this book because I've read it before. Like, I've read it a couple times because I remember I got it at the library one time and I read it once at the library, and then I found out that my friend had the book and I stole the book from her. Well, I didn't steal it, I borrowed it from her and read it again because it was such a good book. That's not this book though. Anyways, that book had to do with like mental illness and abuse as well. But this book has to do with like this main character who's this girl. Well, she's not a girl. She's like in her 20s. She's like a nurse, and she has a really complicated backstory because her mom, when she was younger, didn't specify what age she was when her mom died. But her mom died, but her mom didn't die like of natural causes like sickness or like a tragic accident. Like her mom committed suicide right in front of her. And as you can imagine, that's tragic and like really bad. But to top that off, her father was not even her actual biological father. Her stepdad completely lost it when her mom committed suicide and like became a drunk and like just an abuser and like not good. Okay. The one good thing in her life is that she has her 2 younger siblings who are twins, Allie and Alex, I think. Allie is like autistic and then Alex is just like normal or whatever. And so she has to deal with that, but she loves them like to death. Like they're her like lifeline. Like and if you're one like, and she's in her 20s and she's still living with her abusive stepdad with her 2 siblings. And if you're wondering why, like that's the most ridiculous thing you've ever heard of. If you're an adult, like you're obviously gonna move out the first chance you get from an abuser. Well, she can't because her like siblings, like they're under like they're the stepdad's kids because he adopted them, so she can't take them without like just cause, and like she's kind of afraid and blah blah blah, like typical abuser behavior. Like if you leave, like I'm gonna do this, and like you threaten them or you guilt trip them. I know from personal experience as well as researching it. But anyways, so like she's going through that, but then like in her like work life, I guess you could say, she's a nurse. Like she has like a nurse like education, but she works at like a senior home and takes care of those people. But like she gets a little bit of a higher pay because she's an actual nurse, not just a caretaker. And then she gets like a phone call from her boss, and then her boss is all like, I'm promoting you, and she's like, really? Like, that's great, I'm gonna earn more money. Like, oh, and another reason that she didn't like leave and like take her siblings or try and adopt her siblings is because she, like, her job pays well for, like, one person, but for, like, kids, it's not enough. And then also, like, CPS, like, is a big thing where, like, they make sure that, like, you have enough money, like, they have, like, a certain money income thingy. And then they also, like, a big thing that they have is, like, you have to be married or in a relationship or a stable relationship or something, which to me personally is ridiculous, and I'm gonna have to worry about that when I actually want to adopt, and if I don't have a partner. And what if I do have a partner and it's female and they have some fucking vendetta against, I don't know, like, there's so much that could go wrong with adopting if you're single or if you're in a same-sex relationship, which I'm gonna have to deal with when I do that. But, like, whatever. Anyways, back to the story. So the, like, part of the reason why she doesn't, like, take the kids and, like, leave and adopt them is because abuse, like fear, you know, and then also B, like, CPS's stupid rules where you have to have a stable relationship and you also have to well paying job. And she has a good paying job for one person, but, like, for, like, a whole family, like, that's kind of hard. So, like, she's kind of, like, hoping for a promotion and blah blah blah. And her boss gives her this promotion and just like, oh my god, that's great. And then her boss is like, but the only reason you're gonna get this promotion is if you do this one job for me. And she was like, oh god, what is it? And she ends up giving her, like, this caretaker job, like in-home caretaker job, which is good for her because in-home caretakers, like, get paid a lot of money. And then also, like, she's, like, thinking of, like, her promotion after she's done with that job, which shouldn't take more than, like, 6 months or whatever that, like, her boss said, and blah blah blah. So, like, she's like, cool, awesome, like, I can just deal with this dude and, like, take care of him and then move on. Small problem. She goes there and this dude is suffering major PTSD because he's an ex soldier. Like, he was, like, in Afghanistan or something, and he, like, suffered a blast or, like, a bomb. Like, it didn't directly hit him, obviously, otherwise he would have definitely died, but, like, it hit him pretty close by, and, like, the debris and everything and the blast, like, just blew him back and burned him, and, like, he got, like, a lot of damage. And then, not to mention, like, his partner died like, with him. Like, well, he didn't die, obviously, but his partner died, and he got, like, severely injured and almost died himself. So he's dealing with, like, severe, like, PTSD and, like, guilt with his partner, and then also, like, dealing with, like, skin grafts and, like, recovering from skin grafts, and, like, he's also, like, partially blind because, like, some shards or something, like, got into his eyes, whatever. Which, if you think about it, he's extremely lucky to be alive. Not to mention be able to, like, fully motor function and sight, but also this is a book, so, you know. So anyways, like, she meets him and is a little, like, shocked because, like, she didn't realize how extensive his injuries would be. But, and if you think about this medically, like, you would think she would know because, you know, they give you a folder and they give you all the fucking information, but, like, again, this is a fictional book, so, like, we're not basing it completely off of reality, so, like, okay. So, like, she goes up to him and is all like, yo, I'm gonna be your caretaker, like, blah, and he's just kind of like, fuck off. Like, he literally said, fuck off, and she was just like, excuse me? And, like, she got really defensive, sarcastic, like, you know, girl stuff, you know, and, he was just kind of, like, not having it, and so she ended up, like, getting on his good side by being like, okay, because he has, like, the stupid, like, strict medical diet, like, he has to, like, be fed, like, certain low sodium, like, diets and stuff, and blah, blah, and she's like, I'll cut that down if you be nice to me, and, she said, I'll be less of a bitch to you if you're less of an asshole to me, and he's kind of like, fine, and then they end up getting along, and then slowly along the way, they, like, miraculously end up falling in love, blah, 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 but at the same time, like, he has no idea, like, oh, she's helping him recover, like, he has no idea about her, like, past, and, like, about her abusive stepdad, and her, like, 2 siblings, and then, eventually, like, she, like, left her 2 siblings with her stepdad, because, like, she had no other choice, and, like, towards the end of the story, like, her little sister, like, Abby, or Allie, I think her name is, who has autism, like, she ended up, like, being abused and like heavily like attacked by the stepdad in a little drunken rage, which if she was there, she would have gone targeted instead because she kind of protected her little siblings. That's another thing that I kind of related to because I kind of did that with my cousin. I mean, I didn't suffer abuse, but like I did suffer a lot of like words and like, I don't know, I just kind of sheltered my cousin a lot in Virginia when I used to live with her. Yeah. Anyways, so, so, what was I saying? So, like, she found out about that and freaked out, obviously, and, like, left her little caretaker dude and, went to, like, take care of her sister and, like, blah, blah, blah. And then, CPS ended up coming and being like, yo, like, your stepdad is obviously abusive, like, why are you hiding it? And, like, blah, 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 and she's, like, freaking out. And then CPS ends up taking both of her siblings and puts them into foster care, and she, like, loses her shit after that, and it's like, oh my god, I can't handle it, like, no, you're taking my babies away from me, blah, blah, blah. And, they just, like, would not listen to her. They're just, like, you don't have a stable, like, well-paying job, and, like, you're single, plus you're really young, like, you're in your 20s, we don't think you're responsible enough. And then they used something about how she let her stepdad abuse her, so, like, that means that she would probably have a partner who would abuse her, too, and, like, that would be really bad environment for the kids. Just, like, this bogus, like, proclamations about her, and, like, assumptions, and she was just like, are you kidding me? But she, like, obviously, like, was trying to fight for them, and then at the same time, like, her little caregiver boyfriend kind of dude, ex-vet, he, he's, like, healing on his own, blah, 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 and then he ends up, like, fully being healed in the months that she's away and, like, trying to, like, deal with her, like, siblings and whatever, and then he comes and is all, like, shining knight in armor and is all, like, boy, like, I'm, like, he ended up, like, his, I think one of his family members, like, his mom or something, or his aunt, like, is a really good lawyer or whatever, and he gets her to, like, work for the main character and, like, get her siblings back, and, like, she ends up adopting them, and it's, like, just a happy family thing, and, it's really cute, and, like, I like it because, I mean, there are cheesy aspects of the story, but at the same time, it's very real, and, like, I like how there's no, like, innocent little, like, damsel in distress, and there's no, like, perfect shining armor knight, and there's no, like, perfect saint character. Like, all of the characters in this book have flaws, and very visible flaws, and, like, everyone is, like, up to perspective. Like, you can either like or dislike them, but it's up to you. The author didn't, like, clearly make this, like, this is a good character, and this is a bad character. Like, you know, like, I mean, she kind of did, but she also, like, made, the bad characters have some good qualities, and some of the good characters have bad qualities. Like, she didn't just make it, like, purely, like, oh, this is good and this is bad. Like, and I love that about this book, and I thought it was really amazing and, like, really good, and I really connect with it because of the abuse story, and I just, like, really like the book, and so I keep rereading it over and over and over again. I'm, like, literally, like, skip through the parts that I don't like, because a lot of the abuse sections are pretty graphic and made me cry the first time I read it. So, like, now I just kind of skip it, because, like, I'm just like, I don't need that emotional shit on myself, okay? But, yeah, I just really liked that story because of that. There's also this other really, really good book that I love, that I was talking about earlier. I read it once in the library, and then I borrowed it from a friend and read it once too, but I want to own it because it's such a good book. Oh my god, it's called, I don't remember who it's by, but it's called The Body in the Woods. And the reason that I was so attracted to it was, I love, like, woodsy stories. Like, I don't know why, and, like, it was, like, it's a thriller, so, like, I love that about it too, and, because thrillers tend to be more realistic, you know, so I was gravitated toward the book because of that. Also, the cover looks wicked fucking cool. Like, dude, it's so, please excuse the fact that I just said wicked. Like, we're just gonna ignore that. Like, I was not born in the 90s. I don't know why I said wicked. Anyways, this book is, I won't spoil too much about it. Plus, I don't really remember that much about it. Except for the fact that there's, like, the main character, and she, her mom kind of abuses her and neglects her, which the story didn't even hint at in the summary. So it was like total like didn't even know it was gonna happen. But I was reading it, like I read that book when I was living with my mom. So like that book made me cry both times that I read it because I related to the character so much, because her mom both abused and neglected her, but like it wasn't in a mean way. Her mom was just kind of like, you know, her mom was like clearly not mentally there, but she struggled with telling anyone about it, and like she was afraid because like me, she loved her mom and she couldn't like deal with the fact that she would abandon her mom because she felt like her mom needed her, because she would cook for her mom, she would clean for her mom, like she would even bathe her mom sometimes, and like her mom was just like really not there a lot of the time. And then when she was there, it's like really cute like mom-daughter moments, and it just like vividly was like literally a parallel universe of my life, except she was like in her like, she was like 19, I think, and I was like only 15 at the time, so like I couldn't do the level of stuff that she was doing. Plus her mom was like really thin. My mom's not thin, so like that was not a thing. And I think her mom was a lot less stable than my mom is. But anyway, so like she just didn't want to like abandon her mom, and she thought like telling anybody about it would be abandoning her mom and betraying her mom, so like she didn't want to do it. The same thing. And then like the whole story is about her like trying to like hide this and protect her mom and stuff, as well as like trying to like go to high school or like be in high school and like hide that fact from everyone else, but also make friends, which was really difficult. But then eventually like she found this like one guy who's kind of like not really a friend, like an acquaintance, and he just randomly said like, you seem like you would be good for this, blah blah blah. And it was like this like group where they like went out and they picked up trash and they did like services for like nature and stuff, community services I think it was called, but it was like for the forest specifically. And I thought that was pretty cool, which is what they did talk about in the summary. And then it talks about her finding a body and being like, oh my god, there's a fucking body. And then hence the name The Body in the Woods. And then this turns out like this whole thing where it's like there's a serial killer out in the woods and like they have to find him, and like the police aren't doing much, so it's like up to her and her little group of friends to try and figure it out. And she's also dealing with her mom, and like because she's so distracted with the serial killer, like her mom is being less and less taken care of, and she's just kind of like, I don't know what to do. I'm like, it's just really good. Like I just related to it on like a really personal level, and it was just so real and like gripping. Like every single page like had you turning like, oh my god, it was so good. Thriller, so good. Oh my god, it was so good. Oh my god. And then the most, like I think one of the most unique / amazing parts of the book was they actually, oh my god, it was so cool. It really, in the really intense scenes or chapters when they had like you chasing behind the like serial killer and like you almost caught him or something, or you saw the body or something, like it would or you got this big clue, like it would switch between them, like the main character to the serial killer. Like it would have you like know the serial killer's point of view. So like it had these little like, oh my god, like her hair's so pretty, like I want to touch it, like I want to kill her, like blah blah blah. And it was so unique, and like it didn't really reveal much because the dude's mind was so manic that it didn't give much detail on like what was going on other than his thought process, which was both sick and fascinating at the same time. And then you got their side, so like you got to know where they were and like what they were clearly thinking, and then you got to know his like little like blurred out like manic vision, and you got to kind of piece the pieces together to see like how close he is to them, how close they are to him, like where he is exactly, like if they're going to be able to catch him. And it was kind of like really unique, and I loved that aspect of the book. And then it almost kind of reminded me of like in horror movies when they like go, like they do the behind shoulder camera, and they do it like with the main characters, and then they do it with like the bad guy or whatever, or the like serial killer or whatever, and they have him following, and like you can see him following but they don't see him. Like it was kind of like reminiscent of that, but like in a book, and she did so well, and it was so good. And oh my god, that book is so good. Like I want that book. literally, it's not good for me having income. I keep talking about like wanting an income or whatever to like be able to like stabilize myself and like be able to take care of myself sometimes and like my needs or whatever, even though my needs are clearly taken care of. Like I just want some things, and I feel like it would make me more independent and I don't know, responsible. And but I feel like I would literally spend all of my money on books. But I love books so much. Can you blame me? Like, books are amazing. They're so good. Like, I love them. I love them. They're so good. Like, love books. Like, oh. Literally, like, my dream home is, like, bookshelves everywhere. And, like, books everywhere. And, like, I could just, like, take them and, like, read them all the time. And, like, I love books so much. Can you tell? I love books, okay? I'm a book nerd, okay? I'm just a nerd in general. I'm a dumb nerd. Like, I am not smart academically, but, like, I love nerdy stuff. So, like, I don't get it. But, I guess, whatever. I just knocking stuff down on my bookshelf. Like, that's fine. Normal, Angela things over here. Oh my god, also, I don't think I've pointed this out before, but, like, my uncle gave me this thingy, and, like, it's so cute, and, like, look at it. It's like a little dinosaur, and, like, it's adorable. Like, my camera quality sucks because of the lighting, and also because it's a phone, but, like, look at it. It's so cute. It almost looks like a Pokemon or a dinosaur, or, like, I don't know exactly what it is, but, like, it's adorable, so, like, hi. Anyways, so, yeah, gonna say goodnight now because like I've ranted enough, but like I'm gonna reread this book because this book is amazing. So like yeah, although talking about The Body in the Woods is making me want to read The Body in the Woods, but I don't have The Body in the Woods, so I just have to deal with reading the same book over and over and I can't. I do that with YouTube videos too. Like I watch them over and over and over again, especially if I love them, or like skip to my favorite parts and just rewatch them because like your girl has a problem. Yep. Okay.